Alright, so I'm doing another animation as usual because these are fun to make and, I don't have to show my disgusting face. So, yeah, be talking about humanity and what I think about it, I guess. And, why I think we're doomed. Or, no. So basically, I'm gonna be talking about why we're doomed to die off in the next 500 years or so. That was really an awkward intro. I don't know why I did that. I probably should re-record this, but no, I kind of want to get a new video out as quickly as possible. So, why do I think that we are doomed to just die off within the next 500 years? Well, I'll uh, I'll tell you. There's actually two main reasons that could split into many reasons, and that's why this video is going to be pretty long. Because this reason is going to be, well, long, and the second reason is not going to be that long. But this reason is going to be like multiple reasons in one. So it's like one topic and then a bunch of reasons. So let's sit down and talk about this really quickly. But it's not really quickly because I really need to get this out. That didn't even make any sense. You know what? This is exactly why I'm not going to be anywhere near successful. But whatever. So the first kind of reason, we're gonna call it like little reasons. Okay, now the first topic on the first reason is the way we function as a society and the way we see each other and the way we judge each other. And basically what I mean by this, I don't know how I can really present this in an appropriate way, which is exactly why it's going to be the way it is, because I don't really know how I could present this in any way, shape, or form that sounds right. So I'm just going to flat out say it: feminism. It's like the first point: feminism. It's stupid to a certain degree that could kill us off because it's also the way that we get offended, like how easily we really do get offended. And the fact that most people nowadays can't even take a simple joke without them being like, "Oh my god, you're the devil." Especially with feminism. I think that's what's gonna really kill us off is how easily we get offended. Because we'll probably just end up because we'll just end up killing ourselves because of how offended that we got. And it's kind of depressing and it's really embarrassing. It's like my children are gonna be killed off because of some dude that got offended by a simple little joke that didn't really mean anything. And now I could say, well, that makes me want to punch them in the face, but I can't say that because A, I'll probably die by the time that happens, and B, that would just ruin the entire point of saying this because that means I'm being a hypocrite. Because I wouldn't be offended by that because, well, my children can handle things quite easily because I'm a good parent, right? Yeah, I'm a good parent. Yeah, which is why they'll die first because they don't get offended. But uh yeah, I could say to one of my best friends, I'll be like, "Dude, you're so ugly in that picture," and I'll just be joking around. I'll make it obvious that I'm joking around, and he'll be like, "Dude, why'd you say that about me?" And it's like, what the I'm gonna. Sorry, I'm gonna kill you. I hate you. You're the worst person ever, dude. It's like it's a joke. Can you take a hint? Also, the fact that I have to say in every single one of my videos that I do things like this, it's just my opinion, is also very sad because people don't know the difference between being serious and having an opinion. Because most of the time, if not 100% of the time, it's just people's opinions. And I don't think we should have to say that. But that also leads me into the fact that how stupid we really think we really are. We think we're some intelligent super being. Unless you're a scientist, don't say that you're intelligent. Now, you could say that about me too, because I'm still in high school, but still, alright? I'm not the most intelligent human being, and I'm not gonna say that I am. But I also know the difference between having an opinion and what? Wait, what? So this sounded a lot better in my head, and now that I'm saying it out loud, and the fact that I'm really awkward. Why am I so awkward? Just say words. That's all it is, brain. Just say words. What are you? Oh my. See, this is why I can't record YouTube videos properly, because my brain wants to be like, oh my god, it's an existential crisis. And that's also aspect of killing us off, is we think the littlest things are a complete just crisis. I think we overreact a little too much. Because you could accidentally bump into somebody, and they'll be like, oh my god, you're... And I think I just said that. I had something in my head. And now I can't say it! The fact that people don't have brains, even though I said that, oh my... It's that we think that we're always right. Now, that could also be really hypocritical, because that could mean like, dude, that means you think you're right. And now some of these things I'm stating could have certain flaws in them. But like the fact that I could say like, oh yeah, well this, and this kind of doesn't make sense because of this. Well, no, it's right because I said that it's right. Well, I mean, because conspiracy theories, certain ones actually could be pretty accurate. You know, like aliens coming down and kind of boosting us a little bit. No. Um, that could be kind of, but some of the points that people make are just completely idiotic. Especially other types of conspiracies. Like there's a conspiracy where people think that since certain trees didn't get burned down in the California wildfire, then the government used lasers. Well, first off, you would hear that because lasers and lights in general and things of that nature, once they hit a certain amount of power, they start to make pretty loud noises. Like loud noises, like humming noises and loud, just like space noises. Like, like Star Wars, the laser sounds kind of similar to that, but it's more of like a kind of sound. Yeah, that's the sound that lasers make. How would you not hear that? Because they would be doing it around cities, right? Now it does make sense why they would do that, because of population control, and that makes sense. But that's really the only kind of proof that you have of that, because like I just said, you'd be able to hear that as it's right next to many houses. You'd also be able to see that. Now I understand that certain wavelengths of light you can't see, like ultraviolet light, ultra red light. I think that's a thing. No, it's not a thing. Certain wave, like like I just said, ultraviolet light, you can't see that. But ultraviolet light doesn't create heat. It doesn't generate heat. While laser light, that thing that you point at the ground that makes your pets high and look at them like, oh my god, what the heck is that? Yeah, those are the only real light that kind of generate heat in a focused direction. It's called a laser. Light emitting thing. I don't know. Laser stands for something. But yeah, the lasers, they are strictly lights that you can see and hear. And the fact that, I mean, it is possible. Like I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I'm saying that it's impossible for the government to be able to do that without being noticed at all. And on top of that, people that created that theory do understand that what water is and what it does to fire, right? Like, that people can put out the fire before it spreads. Like, that's the whole point of fires. And there actually was an entryway that the fire went into. And there's an area that was surrounding the fire. And on top of that, the city would be the most likely to be the area that would start the fire. Because they're in closer proximity, there's more things to burn down. There's more corners, there's more heated corners and areas and stuff like that where the fire would start. But it wouldn't have time to spread because, people would call 911 and all of that, and there would be like 40 helicopters in the air taking out the fire. So it's like, what? And there's also a theory that said that time travel is impossible because Stephen Hawking, he did a thing where he sent an invitation to a time traveler party, and and he sent an invitation to the time travelers, right? And he said that if time travel were real, the next day, since he sent out the invitation the next day, then they would have had a party or they would have showed up. But they didn't, proving that time travel doesn't exist. First off, what? Because if they did time travel, then how would you, like, see that? You wouldn't be traveled back in time with them? So, I mean, what? I mean, because there are multiple universes of the past, present, future, time, all of that stuff, right? So maybe that version of you saw that, but you didn't because you're not in that time frame at that time. If that makes sense. So basically, Stephen Hawking didn't debunk his own theory, at least not in our dimension of our universe. Because for each amount of time that there is, like, let's say right now it's 2:45 and it turns 2:46. The 2:45 version of me that happened in the past. Like the person who first started this video, which was me, but since it was in a different time, that creates a whole different universe that was already there. It kind of doesn't make it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but once you like it's just like for every for every second of time, there is a universe that exists permanently in that time state. But we're sort of like the main as we sort of appear. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but that version of Stephen Hawking that was there that day would have seen the time travelers, yes. But since he's not that version of time from himself, he doesn't see that. And I think that's kind of where he didn't think of that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying time travel is completely possible because there is several flaws that go into it. But yeah, the fact that we tend to not see our own mistakes and our own like judgment, like people at my school said that blood is blue, but it only turns red when it touches oxygen, and that just I wanted to like throw myself off of a building at that moment, not because it offended me, but because of how stupid that was. First off, color doesn't change like that in a sort of sense, I want to say. Because if that were the case, there'd be a lot of chemicals that would change to blue. And there is oxygen in blood. So, like, what? Now, you could say, like, oh yeah, well, you look at the vessels, your blood vessels through your skin and it appears blue. Well, that's actually because of the certain wavelengths of color that your skin produces. And blue happens to travel through that and bounce off to your eye. You can do more research on that. It's really hard to explain. But basically, your skin on the inside to a red wavelength, it appears blue. Now, your face appears red sometimes when you're embarrassed because the blood is inside of your skin. It's not on the other side of it. Because when red is behind the spectrum of skin, like actual skin, it appears blue. But when it's inside or on top of, skin, it appears red. Well, it doesn't appear red, but it appears its normal color. Which blood is bright red when it is exposed to oxygen. So I guess they're partially right to a very small degree. Because, yeah, it does change color when it touches oxygen, but it's still red, it's just a different spectrum of it. Because when it's not exposed to oxygen, it's the dark red, and when it's exposed to oxygen, it's a bright red. But blood is always red, and we know this because we've gone down to airtight pockets, like with airtight tubes, that have looked at blood and, those type of things. And on top of that, wouldn't you, see it turn blue? Or wait, I think I said that wrong. Because blood is blue until it hits oxygen. That's what they're saying. I think I said that backwards. But yeah, when you see it turn from blue to red, instantly, and on top of that, why do you breathe oxygen? Or not? Why do you? But wouldn't your body be blue? Wouldn't you be a blue to a certain extent? What? Because your blood vessels go to your lungs, and they pick up the oxygen and whatever other particles that didn't filter through, and they bring it to your body, to your heart, all that type of stuff. That's why when you breathe in things, you die. It doesn't, because people think that it releases out to your body. That's not how it works. It can't be absorbed that way. It'll touch your body, but it won't exactly do anything because it's not being absorbed by your organs. So yeah, in conclusion, our stupidity will kill us because A, we get offended way too easily, and B, we tend to think that things are right. Alright, so that was a lot longer than it needed to be, but reason 2. And this one really gets me nervous because it's kind of scary to think about. Because if our stupidity doesn't kill us off, then it'll just be the universe itself. Because the universe was created by a blast, an explosion of sorts. And although this won't happen for, yeah, that amount of time. That's kind of even more depressing because I thought it would end in a lot more time. So we have 5 billion. We have about 5 billion years to live before we just cease to exist. Which is pretty scary. But in the same sense, it's like, oh yeah, well I won't be alive to see that. So really, who cares? Because I'll probably just be looking at some black nothingness or whatever. Maybe I'll move on to another universe. Because actually, we're living in a simulation. So yeah. And now I'm depressed, but not really, because that's the end of this video. Yay, hope I didn't scare you too much. But, yeah, about that simulation theory thing, I'll go into detail with that in another video, probably the next video. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video of how we're probably gonna die off. And if you did, leave a like. If you have some other third opinion, leave a comment. And if you enjoy my content and want to see more, make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.